Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video back on the F700 briefly, ticking off a few more jobs on the list on that thing, getting it a little bit closer to getting back on the road. Let's get into that. In the last video where I was working on the coupe back there, I mentioned that while I was waiting for parts, I started working on this video, doing some jobs on the truck. That video, or this video, got held up where I did a little bit of damage to myself, as you can see in the thumbnail there on the video. So I'll play what I did previously on the truck, on this thing, and then I'll talk about what I've done to myself and what I'm doing on the truck now, if that makes sense. This video I'm recording while I'm partway through recording the last video you watched on the coupe. I'm currently waiting for parts at the moment for that. I've just placed a big order. I'm sort of at a standstill of what I can do with that right now. So I thought I'd just move along temporarily. I got myself a rebuild kit for the 350 factory fitted 350 Holly on the big truck there. So I've picked up some leads and a dizzy cab and a few other bits and pieces a few weeks ago, and I put those on real quick. But I've got the carb rebuild kit and I finally managed to get some spark plugs for this thing. So while I'm waiting for parts for the coupe, they should be here in the next couple of days hopefully, a big pile of parts. You would have seen that already. But I'm going to get on and try and do some stuff on the truck while I've got a little bit of time to myself. So we'll see how that goes. So a month or two ago, I was lucky enough to grab these workshop manuals for 69 litre trucks. Well, it covers everything from 1969 for commercial vehicles from Ford. But I think this one's like a pre-delivery. Yep, so there's not too much in there that I need to know, but it's cool to have. This one, that's handy information, especially stuff to do with rewiring my fuse box, but there's a lot of good information in there. But this one here, well used, engine ignition system, that sort of stuff. That's got a lot of information on all the engines that came out in these trucks. So it covers the petrol engines, the diesel engines, 6 cylinders, V8s, 6 cylinder petrol, the big diesel engines, everything. But it also has a section on all the carburetors, and this one here is the one that's on the truck. So this is essentially a standard 350 Holly. There's not much to these at all, as you can see by the drawing. Lots of little seals, a few gaskets here and there. This one does have a governor on the side, a vacuum governor. So there's a diaphragm in here, vacuum fitting on the side. That's what it looks like on the inside. These were fitted to govern the engine RPM to 4600 RPM. So this connects to the distributor, and it uses the vacuum advance weights, engine vacuum and everything to restrict the engine to 4600 RPM. A lot of these old trucks from the factory had governors on them. Some were mechanical, some were vacuum. I've got the vacuum one. I think the bigger engines had a mechanical one. I'm not too sure on that. Essentially, because these are an industrial engine, they're heavy duty, they're designed for low RPM, long life. So 4600 RPM, that's their peak performance sort of RPM. Anything over that, you're just reducing the life of the engine. So from the factory, they set that as that. I did some Googling about removing the governor, and it was strongly suggested that you don't mess with it, because you start to drastically reduce the engine life with these heavy rotating masses in these engines with heavy pistons and that. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm going to put the carby back on, bolt that back on now. I think I've put it back together right. It's got a weird sort of linkage set up inside. I'm not sure I've got that 100%, so I'm going to put that on now, clean up the manifold a little bit, put the carby on, and see what happens. Wish me luck. So let's talk about my injury, what I've done to myself. Did myself a bit of a mischief. I did the video on the coupe. I got everything ready for that, to edit that. Did a bit of work on the F700, the carb rebuild, and I was hoping to do a little bit more to get this video done. Didn't quite get there, had to fly back to work. A few days into my shift, I was walking a bulldozer from one work area to another, D10, and there were some rocks in the grill and top of the guard, and I wanted to clear those. I didn't want oversized material in the work area we're going into. So I grabbed a steel pipe and started knocking the rocks out. The first couple went quite easily. The last one needed a lot of persuasion, and I got quite violent with it. And while I was hitting the rock with the steel pipe, the rock split in half. My hand went down the rock and then over the steel, sort of this little edge, went over that. I crushed my fingertip. This doesn't look very impressive. It doesn't look like much, but under there's a crushed fingertip. And I don't like talking about this, but it's a bit gross. But the fingernail, there was a lot of damage to that. It was gone. But it got quite messy. I flew out of work. This was on Saturday. I flew out of work on Sunday morning. Had a operation, my very first operation ever. On Monday morning, had full anaesthetic and everything. Stayed in Perth for a couple of days and then went back for it, get it all sorted. So that finger is currently out of action. I've been back at work since, and I wasn't allowed to do a single task at all whatsoever. I wasn't even allowed to drive the LVs, the cars around site. So that was painful. But so it doesn't look like much, but that finger has killed everything for me work-wise, doing stuff at home for that last week. Couldn't do a thing, couldn't come out to the shed, couldn't do a single thing. So that little moment of not thinking about the consequences of those potential risks. I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time in mining, but and this is the first work injury I've had in the whole time I've been mining. But we talk about how if you don't think and you make a little mistake there, the damage it can cause and how it affects your outside work as well. That has stuffed me for the gym. I'm back at the gym, but I can't do everything I want to be doing. And I couldn't work on my car for a week. And these next few jobs I want to struggle a little bit with. I can't grip properly with that hand. I can only use the first two fingers and the thumb pretty much. So I don't know, the lesson here, I guess, for everyone is think before you do silly things. I mean, I do silly things like that all the time at home. Yeah, I don't know, it's just dumb, but it's a learning, a lesson. So yeah, think about what we do before we do it. So this video was supposed to be out the week after the coupe video, the last video. I'm trying to get into that consistency of uploads. And then I hurt myself. So this one's been put back a little bit. But I have got a lot to do on the coupe and the truck. And I'm getting right into it. And I've got a little bit of time to myself now. So hopefully I get back into that. But that's why this one's been held up. Yeah, sorry. Back to the truck. So another thing this truck needs badly is a mirror on that side. Some stage during its life it's been torn off, the door's a little bit twisted. I've got to fix that too. The guard's a bit dented. This side of the truck's had a bit of a rough life, but this one's got a West Coast style mirror on it. I tried to find another one to match that, like the same sort of patina, if you will, but yeah, couldn't come up with anything. So I just went down to one of the truck places, local truck places, and brought this, basically exactly the same thing, just new, with a satin stainless finish on the mirror itself. But I'll have a go at putting these on now. So that's the mirrors sorted, both sides are done. Very straightforward, just generic West Coast mirrors. There is a lot going on with those brackets there. There's quite a bit to them, and I would have liked something a bit more basic, but they work. They don't look out of place. I've got them tucked in reasonably close at the moment, just to get through these doors. And I think where they're at, I'll be able to see past the car when it's sitting on the back. There is room for adjustment in them. Pro tip for anyone that's messing with these mirrors, these pipe cutters. I got this from Bunnings, I think. I use this for my hard lines on my fuel systems. They're just plumbers pipe cutters. They work really well on those tubes. So that's that done. I'm going to move on to the tail lights now. I've already started stripping the wiring back just to work out the wires. And with this, I'm going really basic. This is all I need, but I've just got a roll of, I think this is what, 7-core trailer wire to run back along the chassis. It's all exposed, it's out in the elements. This works on trailers, so for these tail lights, it's essentially the same thing. So I'm doing those number plate light, and I've got a trailer plug as well to put on there. So I'm just going to strip back these wires. We'll finish doing that, work out what wires what, and then connect them all together. There's only 4 wires on the factory harness that goes back there. So I'm thinking tail lights, brake lights, and left and right indicator. So the 7-core wiring loom, I'm going to leave a couple spare up the front. When I can work out a reverse light switch for this thing, I'm guessing because of its age, this gearbox doesn't have anything there for it. So these didn't have reverse lights from factory. So the actual tail lights I've got on there, I've got late model, well, I've got like 70s, 80s Datsun tail lights on there, and they've got reverse lights on them. So technically I shouldn't have those on there. I might wire up a switch for that, just a manual switch. And anything else, I'll have 3 spare wires going back there. So whatever I need to do later on, I'll tie all that in. But yeah, I'll get on with that now. That's the next one. And then after that, I've got one more cosmetic thing that I'd like to put on this truck that I think this truck really needs. So I'm going to try and get that done in this video as well. We'll see how we go. So I spent yesterday and last night finishing up the wiring on the truck for the tail lights. It's now got working tail lights, indicators. This thing, believe it or not, being a 67, it actually has hazard lights on it, or emergency flashes, carrying over from the American trucks. This one doesn't have reverse lights, so later on I'll do something about these lenses or try and figure out a switch. The wiring itself, I've looped it up inside the rail here. I've made it long enough so when I've got the tray on the back, which is going to be another meter or 2 past the back here, whatever it's going to be, I can just unroll that wire and keep going. So I've kind of thought ahead for that. I've got trailer wiring on there. That's all good to go. Brake lights. Now, I've done all the wiring for the brake lights. They weren't working. I just assumed blown fuse due to the condition of the old tail lights. They're all rusted up and broken. So I just assumed the fuse had blown and had never been changed. We'll have a look at what's actually going on up there and see what my next job is. First thing, fuse box. Very basic in this truck. It's only got a couple of fuses. So that's emergency flashes. Heater, this truck doesn't have a heater. Radio, no factory radio. Stop lights, that's one we're after. This is for the splitter and the diff, 2-speed diff. That's the back of it, very, very basic. So these are the ones we're after. So there's no power coming to the fuse in this. So there's no power actually to this bus bar, and that's the red light that goes to the brake light switch, I believe. So there's no power coming to this, and I've got these random wires hanging down here. So this is the one we're after here. I'll show you why. So this is how I got the truck. The ignition switch was cable tied down here. It usually lives up in there. We'll look at that in a sec. That's the stoplight switch up there on the pedal.
The wiring to the stoplight switch is simply a power in and a power out. So the power out goes to the lights, the power in comes from the fuse box. Someone's had a bit of a play with this. Typical old, that was wrapped up. So this blue wire here, that's the one that's hanging down over there at the fuse box. So there's no power coming into the stop switch. There's no power getting to the fuse box. If I put power to this, brake lights work. So if I put power to this wire, use the pedal, that all works. The actual switch itself, very, very basic, old school Ford and others switch. Yellow one is feed in from the battery. So these two wires here are hanging down and not connected to anything. Those go to the fuse box. So when I put this one on the battery cable and the blue wire, plug that in or connect it and then use the pedal, I've got brake lights. So this needs to be put back in place. These wires need to be connected. I think I need a heavier, well, I'm going to put a heavier wire on for the battery to this because of what's running off this. I don't like that. And I need to fix all this. This connector here, see if I can pull down, there's another connector right there. So I've got to fix that as well. So I'm going to clean up all this wiring, tidy this up, put the switch back in place. So I've got the dash back in place, the ignition switch is doing its thing, hung up with a hose clamp. It's working for now. There are a few melted wires in the loom that I've cut out. It's a bit of a job under there, but for now I've put one of those Nava small fuse blocks under the dash. So I've got the tail light wiring going through that, and I've run another wire up there. I don't know if you can see it hanging from the roof there. But this is my next job, and I'm still sort of in two minds about this one, but let's talk about that. Next item I want to tick off the list on the truck, that wire hanging down there from the roof gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm about to do. This truck, because of its size, it's a full-size truck. I think it needs these. It's a bit of a character thing for these old trucks. I'd never do this to the F100 and F350, but I think this one requires a set of roof clearance lights. Just adds that character, that old school character. Again, I'd never do it to that truck, but this one, that needs it. In two minds because I've got to drill holes in the roof. Making that decision easier is the holes that are already in the roof from the old lights that are up there. You can see those ones up the top there. So I've got to fill those. I'll do that later. There's a few dents in the roof. It's not a perfect roof, but it's got no rust. So yeah, again, two minds, but I'm keen to see these on there. So I'm going to sit them up there, have a look at how it looks. And then this poor old roof lining here that's had mice up in it, I'm going to take that down. I'm not looking forward to that. But I've got to get that out so I can do all the wires, drill the holes, do everything up nice. And that should be it. But let's get this done. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Kind of hoping you didn't. But that was a complete dead rat in the roof. A decent sized mummified rat that's been chilling out up there while I've been doing my thing in here. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning now. The roof itself is in really nice condition. Just apart from the few holes that are already there from the old lights, the roof itself is really nice. And I might be able to knock out a couple of the smaller dents. I'll have a quick look at the interior light while I'm there, the dome light as well. But apart from finding a dead rat, I'm really happy with that. And the roof lining that I pulled out, if you want to call it that, apart from the big hole where the rat got in there, it's in really good condition. So I can make a template, I can use that as a template and make another one to put in there. I've seen it done before, it looks pretty straightforward. If I can find the right board, I can make that. But I'll do that later. For now, I want to get these lights done and move on. Poor rat. I'm sitting loosely on the roof at the moment. I just wanted to see what they'd look like. I'm pretty happy with that. I imagine they're not everyone's cup of tea, but I think they're pretty cool. They suit the truck. The guys I got them off, the shop I got them off, they had LED bulbs for these, but I just went with the old school style filament ones, just tying in with the rest of the truck. So I'll get that middle one screwed down and then measure out from there, get everything spot on. As you can see from that footage, I had the truck out today, took it out for its first decent run since I brought it home. It went really well, better than I expected. Carb's going great, everything's running well. It's got a really bad exhaust leak from number 8 where the exhaust gasket's blown out. I'm not looking forward to changing that. I do have someone in their way, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one at all. But the truck itself is running fantastic. With the smaller tyres and the 2-speed diff locked in high, I managed to get it up to 99 k's an hour and it cruised there quite happily. This does have a restrictor on the carby, so that's as far as it'll go, that's as fast as it'll go. But from, if you remember, it was 75 k's an hour when I drove it home when I brought it, so now it's doing 99. So it's keeping up with traffic. It's a bit of an adventure, it's a bit all over the place, but if I need to go that fast, I can. So yeah. Speaking of the footage that you just saw, and the the camera mentioned in the thumbnail, got myself a little drone. It's a DJI Neo. It's like a blogger's beginner's drone. Does 4K, does everything you need to do. I picked this up through the reward system at work. When you get points for doing a good job, someone's puts you in the system saying you did well at something or help them out with something, they put points in. So I've accumulated enough, I'll get one of these. I've always wanted one, and I'm hoping it sort of adds a bit of extra to the videos, which I think it is, going by that last bit of video of the drones. So I've now got this to carry on with me. That footage wasn't fantastic because I haven't got my controller yet. I've ordered that, that's a separate thing, and a few other bits and pieces. So you'll be seeing a bit more of that stuff, especially when the coupe's out and about. Other than that, I think that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Back to the hand thing. The finger's actually going really well. It's just a nuisance now having that thing on it, but bit of a learning there, I guess, for everyone. Just take care, think about what you're doing before you do it. Use the right tool for the job. Apparently I'm the wrong tool for the job, but yeah, look after yourselves and look after each other. Thanks for watching. Next video, I've already started working on that. That's the coupe, so we're back on that again. Yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.